Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Wished I could see those sweet faces this morning, but I'm not going to get to see everybody today except for those that are in my homeroom. So the rest of you, I'm going to be doing a video for you. So I need you to watch this video and proceed on through the lesson. And at the end, I will tell you what today's activities are and how to do those activities. We're going to continue, and it's actually going to be our last day of instruction on addition. You will see addition throughout the year during all of our math topics. Basically, there will be some form of addition that you're going to review. So it's not the last time you're going to be doing addition, but it's the last day of individual instruction on addition. So today we're going to be talking about three-digit numbers just like we have been. Our learning objective is still the same as it was last week. We're using decomposing numbers, number lines, base 10 blocks to represent the addition problem and helping us solve that. Now, last week we worked a lot with the number line, and I still want you to use that today. That once you learn how to put things on the number line and what each part of that represents and those hops represent, you're going to really enjoy using that number line. But for today, we're going to be doing a couple of things. One of those things is estimation. It's always good to estimate your answer so that you can see if it's reasonable when you get your exact answer. So our problem today, again, like I said, we're doing addition of three-digit numbers. And our problem today is going to be about Apple Day. I know that all of us actually missed Apple Day. And I enjoy Apple Day. I've been there for so many years that it just seemed like part of us. But since we didn't get to enjoy it, I kind of made up a problem about it. And I want you to first estimate. We're going to get an about answer. And if we're looking at this problem, again, we can round to the hundreds place value or to the tens. I want you to think about what we decided when we were rounding, which is going to give us the best estimate. Is it rounding to the nearest 10 or is it rounding to the nearest 100? So I've given you a few seconds to think about that. If we're looking for the best estimate, we're always going to want to round to the smallest place value that's possible. So in this case, rounding to the nearest 10 would give us the best estimate, but I just need to know if my answer is reasonable. So I'm not looking for getting an exact, an estimate that's closest to the exact answer because I just need to see if my answer is reasonable. If I wanted to do the best estimate for a pricing, then I would want to do to the nearest 10. But in this case, I could round to the nearest 100 and still use that as a purpose for seeing if my answer is reasonable. So in this case, we're going to round to the nearest 100. Now remember, if we're thinking about a number on the number line, we're always going to want to know or think about what two hundreds, if I'm rounding to the nearest 100, that the number is between. So in this case, I'm looking at 619. Now remember, we have a benchmark in between each set of numbers. So our benchmark will always be in the middle of the two hundreds. So if I'm looking at the benchmark between 600 and 700, because 619 is between 600 and 700, my benchmark is going to be 650. Now remember, we talked about once we're going up, and if we're looking on a number line, and any number that is below 650 is going to round to the first 100. Any number that's 650 or above is going to round to the second 100 on that number line. So on 619, where would it fall in regards to that benchmark number? Is it going to be before 650 or is it going to be 650 or after? So in this case, we know that 619 is less than 650, so it's going to round to 600. And I'm going to use that Scribble tool that we talked about on Friday, and I'm going to show you how to use that again because you're going to be using it in today's lesson work. So I'm going to show you that quickly before we move forward. I didn't put a full screen, but I did put the Scribble tool up here. You're going to go up here to where this little line is. It has the dots on each end, and you're going to click on it. If you get the Scribble tool, you're going to click down here at the bottom once you hit that arrow, and it's going to allow you to write those numbers. You'll have to keep clicking it just like we did on Friday. So if you are using the Scribble tool, you can just click on that button and it'll write those numbers for you. So we already know that 619 is going to round to 600. Now we're going to do the same thing with 358. So let's think about what 200s, 358's between. We already know because of the digit that's in the hundreds place value is a 3, we already know that it's going to be the first 100 is going to be 300. The next 100, of course, is going to be 400. Our benchmark number is going to be 350. So at this point in time, we should be thinking about, on that number line, does 358 fall before 350 or is it 350 and after? And in this case, it's going to be after, so that means that it's going to round to 400. So if I'm getting an estimated answer for this particular problem, then my answer is going to be 1,000. 1,000. Oops, not sure what that just did there. Remember that you can just erase that off if it doesn't work for you. It looks like my plus sign is not going to, it's trying to be difficult for me today. There we go. All right, so I'm going to add 400 to that. I'm going to click off of there and go get my zeros. And I already know that 400 plus 600 equals 1,000. Okay, so now we've got a really good estimate to let us know if our answer is reasonable when we get the exact answer. Sometimes that'll even tell us if we made an error, especially if we use the best estimate. That's going to let us know if we've made an error in our addition. So now that we know that's our estimate, we're going to go and get an exact answer. And this time we don't want to know about how many because we've already done that part. Now we want to know how many went to the parade. And we're going to solve this problem using two different strategies, one of which I want it to be a number line. So again, you can use your virtual manipulative screen. Let me pull that up quickly to show you where that number line is. You can click on here and it'll take you straight to that number line. And again, remember that you can click down at the bottom and do no ticks. I'll show you that in just a second. So remember, you can choose no ticks. If you click here, you can choose no ticks. So now your number line's blank. You can choose here to put your first mark on there as far as what number you want. Remember this, you can move it back and forth. And then you're going to select here to do your hops. And you can do those. Those can be adjusted to smaller hops, larger hops. Now, when you're hopping, remember the amount you put in here is going to be the amount you're hopping by. So this will be the starting number, and then your amount that you're hopping by is going to be here. You have to add these two together to get your results for this box, which is going to be the next box that happens. So it's like your number is growing down here as you hop. So make sure that you remember that as you do this number line. So let's go ahead and input our first number. And our first number was 619. So I'm going to go ahead and put 619 here. And I know that I'm adding 358 to that. Now, as we've talked before, a number line is something that you can choose how you want to hop. We could hop up by hundreds, or I could just go ahead and hop up by 300. I could go ahead and put 300 there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for for us today. But remember, if you don't want to do 300 altogether, you could do it by 100. You could do 100 3 times if that's easier for you. But that again is your choice on a number line. So you could make that choice. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and put in 300 here. Now I'm going to add the hundreds place value here. 600 plus 300 is 900. And then the 19, I'm just going to carry forward because I don't have anything to add to the 19 because in 300 is all zeros. Okay, so now we've taken care of the 300. Now we still have 58 to hop. So again, I'm going to put up another hop bar. This time we're only going to hop 50. So I'm going to decrease my bar down. And I'm going to hop 50. So I'm going to, oops, not 501. Got too many there, didn't I? So let me go ahead and delete that one off. And I'm going to put up another box for my number line. And this time I'm going to be adding 919 to 50. So I know that my 900 is going to stay the same. 50 plus 10 is 60, and then my 9 is also going to stay the same. The next thing that I'm going to add is I'm going to add a 1 because I want to get rid of this number and get me a nice friendly number. So I have 8 left to go, but I'm going to go ahead just to, for my sake, just to get rid of that 669 or 969 because I like to have those nice friendly numbers added there. So I'm going to add another bar and I'm going to go ahead and add a 1 because I still have 8 to add. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of those 8 and just add it to this one just to get rid of that number. I want an even number with nice friendly numbers at the end. So now I'm at 970. So I still have 7 to add. At this point, we can just add 7 now that we have this nice friendly number. I know that 970 plus 7 is going to give me 977. But if you want to add 5 and then add 2 more, that's fine as well. It will be totally up to you on that number line. As long as these numbers that are in green total 358, you can do it in any hopping method that you want. I prefer to kind of combine those numbers for myself. But again, that is totally your preference. If you want to do it by 5 or and then 2 more, that's fine. Fine to do that. But again, I'm going to leave that completely up to you. But in my case, I'm going to go ahead and just add the 7 to get 977. So the final answer for this particular problem is that at Apple Day, there was 977 people in attendance. Now, the problem is asking us to do it in 2 different ways. So we can do another strategy that would allow us to get the same answer, and we're going to work on that now. So remember that we can use the breaking apart method where we are breaking it apart based on place value. So I have 600 plus 300, 10 plus 50, and 9 plus 8. I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to add them all together to get 977. So remember, this is called partial sum. You can use that method to help you solve problems with using addition. You also have the place value blocks that you could draw those out, look at the picture that way. So please make sure that when you're doing the problems today to use different methods to try to help you solve the addition problems in the slides that you're going to be working on. Hope everybody has a great day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.